I've finally done it. I've finally decided what I'm going to be reading and studying through in 2026. Now, let's be honest. I'm probably going to add more things to this as I go, because I always do. There's always books and Bibles that are released or things I find along the way, and we all know I'm kind of crazy that way. But for now, this is my plan for what I'm going to do in 2026. So as you can see, not giving up on this one yet. This is the NLT Chronological Life Application Study Bible. I am, as you can see, not even halfway, but that's okay. I'm going to continue when I can reading through this Bible. I will finish it eventually someday. Big goal of mine. So I'm going to continue reading through this in 2026. There's no plan of how much I have to read every day or when I have to finish, but it is going to be included in my rotation. And what often happens is I end up doing it more on the weekends because I'm really busy with work during the week. So I'm still reading, of course, during the week. But this is one that I end up doing more on the weekends because it just takes me a little longer. So we'll see. I'm going to continue doing that, and we'll see how far I get this year. All right, I have a lot of stuff out, so please excuse my shuffling around in between what I'm telling you here. All right, so here comes the next plan that I've decided to do. I have decided to use the Daily Scripture Guidebook. This is by Tim Wildsmith, another fellow Bible reviewer. It's a 52-week journey through the Bible. So I picked this up. It seems like it's pretty manageable. I'm just going to open up to a random week to show you. There are daily readings, so it gives you an Old Testament reading, a New Testament reading, and a Psalms and Proverbs. And I think that'll be good for me because I am doing another Bible reading with my Chronological Bible. So I think this one will be good because I'm still doing a read through, but it's also like breaking it up a little more, so I'm not in the same book in the same, whatever part of the Bible every day. Again, nothing wrong with that. I love my Chronological Bible, but I just think this will break things up a little bit for me. So besides the reading plan, there is like some commentary here for the week's material. It's not for every day. It's a weekly, like a weekly commentary here. And then there's a reflection space. So it says write down a few reflections on this week's reading. And it gives you a space for each day. So day 120 would be here. And it continues on the back pages then as well. So I decided to do this, and I decided I'm going to use the NASB/LSB translation because I've never done a complete read through of that. So in order to use more of my Bibles, I decided I'm going to go kind of back and forth between the NASB 95, the NASB 2020, and the LSB. So I think from what I've understood, the translations are close enough to each other that it would be okay for me to kind of switch back and forth between them. I mean, obviously it doesn't matter. Like I could do whatever translation I wanted, but I wanted to do the NASB translation, and I couldn't decide between them, so I just decided, why not factor in all of those? Why not incorporate them all into my reading plan? So that is the current plan of what I'm going to do. So here are some of the Bibles I could use for that. I'm not deciding, hey, I'm going to use this one in January. Hey, I'm going to use this one this week. I'm just going to go with it. Whatever I feel like reading from that day, that's what I'm going to grab, as long as it's in that translation family. So I have the Humble Lamb NASB 2020 History Bible. So that's one I can use. And I will try to post the review links for all of these because obviously I don't want to go through and do a review right now. It would take too long. This is from Lockman. This is the NASB 2020, The Beauty of Scripture Bible. Another beautiful edition. And then this one is the NASB 95. This is a Skylar Quentel. This is one of my first premium Bibles. So she's kind of been sitting around for a good bit and haven't used it. So want to use that one somewhere in the rotation. This is another NASB 95. This is an Allen NASB R1, I believe. And then this is an NASB 2020. This is another Skylar Bible. This is the Stridon. single column, verse by verse. And then this is the NASB 2020 Reader's Bible from Lockman. Really nice single column edition. This would be great for extended periods of reading. Really love this one. And then, oops, I left another one. I'm in the rotation at work because I've been taking a bunch of Bibles with me to work. It looks pretty much the same as this one on the outside. It's the same cover and everything, but it's the NASB 2020 personal size Bible from Lockman. So I'll try to post a review link for that too, but I just forgot that one. So that's going to be incorporated in there as well. And then, okay, so I'm going to show you my Christmas present a little early here. Excuse my reach. I'm not going to use this one till after Christmas since it is technically part of my Christmas present. But this is from 316 Publishing. And I did not review this yet, so I will once I officially receive it. But I just giving you a sneak preview here. Now I forget what it is. I always do this. So many Bibles, I forget what they are. The handy-sized inside column reference Bible does have red letter. Just to quickly show you this, it's a single column verse by verse. But I'll do a review of that. I'm not going to do that right now. Just give you a quick little, I didn't even untuck my ribbons yet. Just wanted to show you really quick. I am going to have that in my rotation for the Daily Scripture Guidebook. All right, so those are going to be my two main reading plans for the year. As for study Bibles, I plan to use the NKJV Enduring Word Study Bible from Thomas Nelson. I've really loved getting into this one a lot lately, so I'm going to continue to use that one. And another one I've used a lot this year. My goodness, I have to reach so far, sorry. This is the NIV Cultural Background Study Bible, so I'm going to continue to use that one. Again, if we're being real, I'm sure there's going to be other study Bibles in there as well. But for now, those are the two that I am reaching for the most and plan to incorporate those the most into my reading and studying. There's going to be a million books, I'm sure, and studies that I get and I have a whole bunch that I'm going through yet. But I'm hoping to kind of get through some Daily Grace Co. studies. I've had a lot of them sitting on my shelf. I've read through a lot of them. And there's a lot I haven't read through yet. So I really need to be working on that hopefully this year. So I just pulled a random one out. This one's James. So I'm hoping to get into these studies more. They're really easy to do. So I think I'm going to be able to get some of those in there. You just read the scripture for the day. And then there's like 2 pages to read. And then there's some reflection questions. And then you go on to the next day. So it's nothing too like intense. So I think I probably will be able to get some of these in along with those 2 scripture plans. But like I said, the NLT I might just save mostly for the weekends when I have more time, but it just depends. If I have a day off of work or something, I can dig into that one a little more, just to make it a little more feasible here for me to get through all this. I've had this forever too. I mean, not forever, but close enough. This is the Bible Themes Handbook, and I started it, I liked it, and then 1,000 things came up and I never got back to it. So that's another on my list to be read. Hopefully get through some of that this year, this upcoming year. We'll see. So that's on my list as well. Now, I didn't pull out like all my other Bibles. I did do a video recently on my most used Bibles in 2025. So I didn't pull those out again since you just saw those. I just pulled out like the new stuff that I'm going to start this year. None of these Bibles are like super, well, a little bit. Like there's a couple that I got kind of recently, but most of this is stuff that I've already had, except for the Daily Scripture Guidebook. Obviously, that was just released, so I had to buy that. And the LSB that I'm pulling out my Christmas present early to show you. Those 2 obviously were just bought. The rest of these, a lot of them have been here for a while, so I need to start using what I have and not just letting it sit around. I'm always reading the Bible. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's never like, oh, I'm not reading my Bible at all. But as someone who really loves Bibles and reviews Bibles and compares translations, etc., there are times that some of them just get stuck on the shelf for a while and I don't get to use them. And I try not to let that happen. I try to give some away if that happens too much because they don't need to just be sitting there. There's no purpose for that. But what I've kind of found is a lot of my NASB Bibles, I'm using them but they're not like the ones that I'm pulling out like daily. I get stuck in like a couple of my Bibles, and there's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but I want to use more of my resources. I want to compare and use more of my translations. So that's kind of why I decided I'm going to go with this NASB read through, because I love the translation, but I feel like it kind of gets put on the back burner sometimes as there's so many other things going on, and there's so many other Bibles that I just tend to reach for all the time and maybe not get into as much of the Bibles on my shelf. So long story short, that's why I decided to do that read through. And then I want to get through these Daily Grace Co. and other studies that I already have. I need to calm down. I need to stop buying more studies. Now, some of them I get for reviews. That's a little bit different, but I need to get off of Amazon and stop buying studies and Daily Grace Co., etc. They have great studies, don't get me wrong. There's a lot out there, but I need to use what I have. So that's kind of be the theme of this year. Besides what I'm reviewing for you, I really need to slow down and use what's on my shelf already. So I don't know if any of you have that problem too. Not that it's really a problem, but you know what I'm saying. Like, we need to stop trying to find the next best thing is what I'm trying to say, and use what we have. For me, anyway. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Besides my review copies, I am really going to try hard to use what I have. So that's my plan. I'm going to do my NASB read through. I'm going to continue with my NLT Chronological Life Application Study Bible. I'm going to try to do some Daily Grace Co. studies. I'm going to use my Enduring Word and my Cultural Background Study Bible. And I'm sure I'm going to use the other Bibles that I've showed you in my other video as well, like my ESV Veritas Bible. You know, I have a bunch of Schuyler Quentels that I really like, and the CSB and the ESV that I'll probably reach for as well. My CSB Giant Print Holman Handcrafted is one that I reach for a lot. And you know, some of my other large print personal size Bibles, like in the NLT that I take to church. All of those are going to stay in rotation, I'm sure, as well. But my main plans are the Chronological Life Application Study Bible, the NASB read through with the Daily Scripture Guidebook, and then just trying to get through, that sounds terrible, like just get through. I don't mean that, but just trying to get to the studies that I already have on my shelf that I have not done, because there's too many and it's kind of embarrassing at this point. So I need to do that. So that's my plan for 2026. We'll see if that changes. We'll see if anything gets added. You know I'm going to add stuff. It's my special brand of crazy. But that's the plan. I'm going to try to at least stick to those things in the upcoming year. So I would love to hear what you're doing. I'm always inspired by hearing what other Bibles my viewers are using and what studies you're doing, what's working for you, what translation do you like to study from, what translation are you going to read through this year? Are you doing a combination, or are you just picking a particular, just one translation to stick through? Are you going using a whole bunch at the same time and rotating? What are you doing this year? So I want to hear all about that as well.